For all the latest community news and events.
103.2 Preston FM.
Your community, your radio.
In the studio right now, two guests, and it's nice to welcome them both into the studio. Now, maybe you're aware of Galloways Society for the Blind. Well, they're a local charity based in the northwest of England, supports people living with blindness of visual impairment. Operating out of 4 regional centres, they provide vital help and services, including specialist equipment and advice, talking newspapers, training and support groups, as well as escorted holidays and outdoor activities. And to find out more, I've got Terry Miles, who I think is a social inclusion activity coordinator, and James Coulton, who's audio services coordinator. So I hope I've got that right, guys. A very good morning to you both.
Good morning to you, thank you.
Lovely to have you in the studio this morning. So maybe, Terry, first of all, tell us a little about Social Inclusion Activity Coordinator, about the role within Galloways.
Well, mine is a new role that's just been set up. I've started the role there since 1st of December, and I'm taking over from a lady called Lynn Garside, who was there for about 15 years. So it's just moving things on from that now, but it's basically if somebody's been diagnosed as blind from whenever, then my job is to get them off the settee and out and doing whatever it is they want to do. So it may be bowling, maybe swimming, it may be a knit and natter in one of our centres, or anything up to the stuff that we do in the outdoors, so walking, climbing, canoeing, whitewater rafting, anything. So whatever it is they want to do, then we can make it happen at some stage.
And that can be often with someone who maybe has been determined as being blind but was previously sighted?
We have one or two people that have been maybe born blind, whatever, or have visual impairment, you mean from an early age. But yes, we do have people that would be that would go blind at a later stage in life, yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, some of the activities that you've just mentioned there, even sighted people would find them the most awesome things to be going and doing. You know, I mean, I quite enjoy one or two things, but there were some of the things that you mentioned there that I'd be thinking, ooh, could I do that? So, for a blind person, what about the fear, as I would probably have if you said to me, are you coming and doing that with me?
The fear factor is the same for anybody. I mean, if you're frightened of, if you're frightened of something, you're frightened of water, there are extra elements that if you're blind, you can't see things, but you've just got to overcome those fears. I mean, it's about increasing somebody's comfort zone, so somebody's comfort zone there, and taking them into the risk zone, so taking them out, doing different things, trying that, and see if it goes and increase on the size of their comfort zone. So that's our job then. I mean, mainly, you mean, for some people it might just literally be getting out of the house and walking down to the bus station. You mean, that might be their fear factor. So there's a whole range of different things there, but I've just recently asked for a list of activities that people want to do, and they've got scuba diving, they've got wing walking. So
is that the wing walking, plane wing walking? Yes. Yeah. Wow.
So somebody wants to do that now. I'm not sure I can make it happen this year, but if he's determined to do it, then I'm determined to help him to do it.
Wow.
So whatever it is they want to do, then we'll try. We'll try our best to get them there.
And I take it then, as you were saying, it's getting people out of the house. I would imagine activities are a big part of, getting people into a realisation that anything they want to do, they can go out there and do it, no matter if they're visually impaired or not.
Absolutely. I mean, we just recently now in Preston, I'm looking at all the different activities that are available in Preston, and you're actually very, very well served in Preston. There are archery clubs, there are cycling clubs, lots and lots of different things that people can take part in. And again, whatever the ability or disability, we may want to call it that, then whatever it is they want to do, we can find something for them to do. And there's a whole range. I mean, we run a shooting club. We have a blind shooting club that we run. Which
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I know a lot of people might be quite surprised about that. I do know a little about it, so for listeners who don't, tell us a little about the shooting club.
Well, if I can pass you over to my colleague here, who is James, who's he's in the shooting club himself.
Right, yeah. So, James, tell us a little about, because that would be another thing that I'd struggle with, even with sight, would be the shooting club. So if I was partially sighted or didn't have sight, I couldn't imagine how I would do it. So tell us a little about it then.
Yeah, basically we've got a good group of people who go on the shooting in the shooting club. We've had a lot of success in national championships and things like that. But basically what it is, you've got your air rifle, which has a sight on it, but not an optical sight that you would look down. It's basically like a light meter, and what it does is we have a target which is bright white in the middle, that's about 10 metres away, with a light shining on it, so the brighter the part of the target is the centre of the target, and the sight on the rifle converts that light intensity into a audio tone,
right?
Which basically is, if you're way off target, it's a dull tone going to a really high pitch whistle, and it's that we're listening for, as opposed to actually looking down the sight. So you can close your eyes and still be able to hit the target.
So when you actually more or less got onto the bullseye, you'd get the loudest tone, would you? So you'd get a very strong tone.
The loudest high pitch. It's like it goes from a dull, like a really dull tone, to a high pitch whistle,
right?
Or a high pitch screech, and it's that you're listening for. And a millimetre or two of movement at the gun can be magnified down by the target to probably 3 or 4 centimetres, I'm guessing. So the stiller you can hold the rifle, the better.
Right. So is it quite a popular sport then?
Yeah, I think in our club we've got, Terry might be able to correct me here, but I'd say probably about 15 members.
More.
With more people wanting to come on board all the time.
I think we have more than that. I think there's 20 plus people that go regular shooting, so,
right.
So quite a lot.
And
even you.
Yeah, even I, yeah. And James, you're audio services coordinator, so what kind of does that entail, the work that you do?
Yeah, I started that in August last year. So a bit of my history was I was registered blind in 2002, from being perfect sight to registered as blind. So I started off as a visually impaired member of Galloways. Then I started doing some volunteering, and August last year I got a full-time position doing the audio services coordinator, which is basically day-to-day running of our recording studio. We put out talking newspapers, magazines.
Yes, talking newspaper.
And we send out approximately 55,000 recordings a year, with some contract work that we do, and also the talking newspapers on a weekly basis.
And of course, I mean, that's one thing nearly everybody's always heard about, isn't it? Talking newspapers.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest services that we probably offer, and to a lot of people that can be a lifeline. People were used to reading newspapers, and suddenly the sight goes, and that's one thing amongst all the other things that's taken away from them, is the ability to read. You do get a lot of people, they really look forward to it coming through the post every week, and it's like as soon as they get it they want to listen to it, and it's like that lifeline that they get to the outside world again.
So how is that sent out then? It's sent out through the post. Is it a tape? Is it tape?
No, we've gone away from tapes. Weekly publications that we do now are on a memory stick, little USB memory stick. We provide free of charge a player that you can listen to that on. So we send that out every week. It goes in a bright yellow wallet through Articles for the Blind, through the post. There's no postage involved. People listen to it. When they've finished listening to it, they pop it back in the wallet and send it back to us, and we send the next one out. If it's a multi-recording, that still goes out on CD.
Right. And James, you say that, was it 2002 that you say you were registered as partially sighted?
Yes, in 2002 I was registered partially sighted, and then a year later I was registered as blind.
So what was your world like then? I mean, were you are you a guy who's a fighter? Were you continued to fight, or at that point, what was it like for you?
At the time, there was a lot of other circumstances, and all I wanted to do was probably just lock myself in my room, listen to the TV, radio, things like that. Then my parents got me to go along to Galloways to see what they did. I went along. I think I bought a talking watch at the time, because that was one thing I couldn't see was what time it was. Then I got involved with, it was Lynn at the time, Terry mentioned Lynn before, on the outdoor side of things. And from there, I went away on a week's residential with them, doing outdoor activities, canoeing, kayaking, sailing, that sort of thing. And basically within that 1 week, I'd turned my life around. I'd sort of gone from thinking, well, that's it, I can't do anything, to being really positive and throw anything at me, I'll have a go at it sort of thing now. If somebody says to me now, you can't do that because you're blind, I'll find a way of doing it to prove them wrong. So it's and there's a lot of other people out there that have been in the same position.
I was just going to say, I bet there's a lot of other people will tell the same story, that if it hadn't been for Galloways, the difference that it must have made to their lives.
It does. It make it's made a big difference to my life, not just the outdoor activity side of thing, but everything in general, the help and support that they offer both the visually impaired person and the families and friends as well.
Right. And Terry, I think, is one of the things coming up. I don't think it's happened yet, because we had somebody in last week on another programme and I was listening to the interview, and they were talking about a trip up to the Lake District that's taking place.
That's right. On the 14th to the 17th of April, we've got a trip to Coniston Lake, and it's a place called the Water Parks. So we got there for 4 days and doing the stuff that James has been saying there. So literally, we'll write the programme, we get up there, and it will be designed around the people that we've got, but it will be a full-on programme: walking, sailing, canoeing, gorge walking, whatever it is, and we'll be challenging them very, very hard as well. But it's not. Well, I suppose people term it as a holiday. I don't think it's a holiday at all. This is
Far from it.
This is a
right?
full-on challenge. Yeah,
Is it
really,
a full-on
really is.
challenge?
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. And what about the youngest? I mean, what's the youngest age that you work with at Galloways then?
We tend to recruit from 18 plus. We work with adults only. So I think we do have some links with the younger end, but we don't do much with the younger end. So it would be adults only. Up to, I think the oldest person I've seen abseiling would be about 90,
mid-90s.
Mid-90s,
Wow.
93, 94.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Wow, brilliant. Yeah.
So any challenge at all, anything we can do. So we've got the water parks coming up. We've also got a driving day as well on the 28th of April, where people get a chance to drive learner school cars around the racetrack. So they can turn up there on the 28th of April. People get in touch with our head office. They can find out about the driving day. But you get a chance to be a passenger on the back of a high-powered motorcycle. You'll get a chance to be a passenger in a prestigious sports car. We've had in the past E-Type Jags, Austin Healey's. That you get a chance to be a passenger in that for the day. And then also, like I say, you'll drive a driving school car as well. So the VI, the visually impaired person, will drive that car around the racetrack at whatever speed the driving instructor feels comfortable with.
Right, lovely. Yes.
So usually they're pressing the brakes quite a bit on that. We also have another day coming up on the 26th of April, which is a walking day around Rivington, and that'll be 3 different levels of walking, so a high level, medium level and a low level. So whatever your ability at all, we can cater for you on that day, and that'll be around Rivington on the 26th of April.
And the first one that you mentioned there, the driving one, that's taking place where again and when?
That's on the 28th of April, and that'll be at the Three Sisters Racing Track in Wigan.
Ah, right, yeah.
So if you get in touch with our head office in Penwitham, if you get in touch with them, ring them up there, you'll get all the details. We can send you a newsletter out there, or we can explain all these, send an email or whatever out, and it has all these details on.
That's right, and the number there is 01772 744 148, so 01772 744 148, or inquiries@galloways.org.uk. So there you are. So can I thank you both for coming in this morning and telling us about the things that are happening at Galloways? And I know you visited us today, and fingers crossed and all being well, I think we're visiting you tomorrow.
Well, I'm looking forward to inviting you to some of our events as well. So, yeah,
right,
absolutely.
okay. Well, all being well, I think we're hoping to do Chat City tomorrow from Galloways up there in Penwitham. Fingers crossed that works, but maybe we'll know more about that soon. Okay, so a big thank you there to Terry and James. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
very much.
It's like having the Likely lads back reunited with me in the studio. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. We hope you've enjoyed the interviews as much as we have. Why not give us a tweet at ChatCityPFM?